din. So again, good evening sa inyo. Nice to see you, Ma'am Rowena, again. Sir Orlando and Eliazar, as usual. So last time, we discussed about branches of agriculture, and we started first with crop science, and we discussed about the different classifications. So these are the botanical classification. No. And I guess we stopped somewhere here, no? So descriptive classification of crops. Okay. So, but before that, let me just check our attendance. And 16 to. Okay, so again, based on botanical classification, last time, we have classification yung base sa binigay ni Carolus Linnaeus, no, the botanist. So those have different hierarchies, yung from kingdom, phylum, orders, and suborders and divisions, yung mga ganon. And hanggang scientific names, family, genus, and species. So the second way of classifying plants, by the way, I have sa dashboard ninyo ha, nandito lahat sa announcement yung mga previous lesson natin. You just click the YouTube link. This one, the first meeting we have is nasa Facebook Live. This second one, then third sa YouTube na lahat, fourth and last time. So if you miss the last meeting, so you can always go back to the link. So to continue,
okay, ma'am.
Yes, to continue, we have different ways of describing or classifying plants, no? Kadali lang ha, kanay nag-message. So, and there are also a lot of ways to classify our crops, no, based on different categories. So last time we discussed about this mode of reproduction. So all plants are classified whether sexual or asexual. So it means that pwede silang from seed, no, through fertilization and pollination, or asexual, meaning without seed or without the pollination or yung usual process ng fertilization. But there are crops na pwedeng both, no, yung mga apomectic, no, and also we can use cuttings, or we can also use mga vegetative parts. So depende yon. Root crops o kaya sleep, sucker, yung mga ganon. So all of that will be mentioned anyway. So sa crop classification, according to mode of pollination naman, we have mga natural self-pollinated, cross-pollinated naturally, at yung mga crops na both can do the self and cross-pollination. So ano itong self-pollinated and cross-pollinated? Of course, pag self-pollinated, it means that these are crops which has a perfect flower. It means they both have the male and the female organs, no, based on their structure, and they are capable of self-fertilization. So example, yung rice natin, usually mga legumes or pulses, okra, tobacco, tomato. So these are just some of the examples. So, and also, although they are actually self-pollinated, pwede naman sila ding cross-pollinated. And there are also some perfect flowers na di rin pwedeng self-pollination because may pwedeng defective sila, like for tomato, no, usually every December, if the day length is shorter by December, di ba, long night tapos December, so hindi yan masyadong nagpo-form and fertilize, kaya nag-immamasculate yan, no, yung manual fertilization or pollination. So ano naman ang cross-pollination? So ibig sabihin, from one plant to another of the same species, the pollen is transferred. No, from the anther, of course, this is the male with the pollen grains. Papunta siya sa stigma to another flower or separate flower. Although pwede ring may self-pollination na mag-occur, no? For example, yung corn. Alam naman natin na ang corn, meron siyang both male and female. Yung female niya, yung may bunga, di ba? And yung male niya, yung tassel. But then, it's strictly cross-pollinated. You know why? Kasi in the case of corn, bago pa man ma-mature yung pollen, tapos na ang receptivity ng embryo or ng female organ ng, or yung female organ, ovary pala ang ibig sabihin, yung ovary ng corn. And mostly many grasses, no? And we also have avocado, grape, mango, and almost all plants na imperfect flowers, ibig sabihin wala silang male or wala silang female. Or separate yung kanilang male or female, like papaya, diba? Na ay lalaking papaya, na ay babaeng papaya. Or unisexual sila. Isang like even, no, some of our, actually yung mga rambutan, merong lalaki at babae din. No? And third, ibig sabihin they are both capable of self and cross. So examples of this are cotton and sorghum. So those are based on mode of pollination. We also have based on lifespan, no? Annual, biennial, or perennial. Of course, annuals are only for months, no? Less than a year or within 1 year lang. And tapos na ang life cycle nila. So like the grass family, the rice, corn, cowpea, mung bean, mga legumes, and squash. And if it takes 2 years, yung mga biennial, to complete the life cycle, for example, yung ating mga cucumber beets, no? I know, cruciferous, brassicacea, also bulb onion, no? So second year pa lang siya mamulak. Although ang cabbage, ang carrots, and even radish, horticulturally, gina-consume nato na sila as a earlier, no? Annual sila gina-harvest kasi we only harvest them within a month or less than 2 months from planting. But kasi we only look for its vegetative part, no, yung kanyang yung cabbage na leaves, no, or head. But second year pa na sila actually mag-flower. If you notice, no, if not, they are not triggered or stressed to flower, so mag-flower na sila after 1 year or second month. So those are biennial crops, no, like banana, it's biennial. But it became perennial kasi meron din siyang sucker. So yung perennial, yung it will live, keep on growing and bearing fruits through many years, no, depende, halimbawa if vegetatively like banana and core na merong corm, rhizome, or tuber. Or yung mga fruit trees natin, these are all perennial. So we also have, ano nangyari dito? Wait lang. Wait lang, ako sa usbon ha, kaya naglahi ang color. Okay, so to continue, the next way of classifying them is as to growth habit, whether they are herbs, vines, lianas, shrubs, and trees. So pag sinabing herbs, they have succulent na stems, no? Like the aglonema, yung mga flower natin, mga ornamentals, banana, cane or sugar cane, and tomato. Yun are mga herbs. If vines, of course, still they are herbaceous, no? But they are climbing or twining, kaya vines sila. So without supporting stems like the ampalaya or the carancia, mumurdiga carancia, the cucumber, the lufa or patola, the pulsitaw, and yam. Lahat yun mga nagkakatay, no? And even, ano ba yun? Sayote or chayote. So ano tong lianas? Etong lianas naman are still climbing or twining plants, but they're not called vines kasi woody yung stem nila. It's not succulent. And they also depend on mga woody stem to climb, no? Up to the top of the canopy. So example are, meron tayong climbing bamboo, no? Kita na mo, anak? And of course, grapes, no? And jade vine, it's very nice. Naano siya sa Eden, or the Strongyloidon macrobot trees. Yung rattan natin and passion fruit. These are all lianas. So we also call shrubs yung mga small trees or parang tree-like plants na less than 5 meters siya by height. No? And they are erect, woody, and may mga trunks, several trunks. So like the Barbados cherry, the pink jasmine or kamaning, the siam weed or hagunoy, and santan or lantana. And lastly, we have trees. If they are really having erect, continuous growth with woody tissue or stem, na nagiging stem or trunk, and in fact, these are source of our woods or furniture. Now, reaching up to the height of 5 meters or more, no? Like the redwoods, yun yung pinakamahaba na trees in the whole world, which are found in, I guess somewhere, sa US na siya. Kalimot ko. Yeah, but it's somewhere in US. So example of trees are the durian, mango, molave, nara, and tamarind, and a lot. So that's according to growth habit, and according to leaf retention, no, yung kanyang leaves. So if you notice, of course, meron tayong mga puno even in the Philippines na minsan kanang upaw siya. So these are called deciduous. No, it means yung nagsha-shed off yung leaves nila annually or depende sa season. No, like the cherry, yung sa Japan na ano. Pero sa Philippines, these occur during summer months, like the fire tree or the Delonix regia and red mambin or yung siniguelas natin. And if it doesn't shed off the whole year throughout, it's all evergreen, like the pines, banana, papaya, palms, and almost all tropical plants. So that's according to leaf retention. So another one is according to ecological adaptation or habitat. So kung saan sila nagta-thrive or usually best grow, no? We also have aquatic or hydrophyte ang tawag pag aquatic, or hydrophytic plant. These are all the same. So it means sa waterlogged condition sila, no? Sa mga swamp, ponds, or streams like the azolla. Yung azolla, yung legumes, diba, na ginagamit na nating feeds, yung Ipomea aquatica or kangkong, bulrush, lotus, water lilies, and of course the mangrove species na sa ating mga sa sea, sa base or ano ba na? Yeah. So and the second one is the epiphyte or epiphytic plant, meaning they grow above ground on another plant. Pero hindi sila parasitic, ha? They just need physical support para to gain nourishment from the air. So aerial sila. So they have roots that can take moisture and minerals leached from the canopy of trees, no? And they can catch rain and para sa kanilang kanilang nourishment. So, example of the epiphytes are the pineapple, yung bromeliads, the orchids, no, fern families. So, they are also known as air plant or tree dweller. And in case, like strangler fig, no, baliti. Yung kanang baliti nato, diba? I really thought when I was young, ang baliti is, or the strangler fig, is really a very big tree. But then, lately lang na ako kasi naami baliti nga mukatay ra day na siya, no? And it even like mura siya walking plant, no? Kaya ang iyahang roots mukuan siya sa ground. Mura naga-root siya, naga-produce og root nga And then eventually they root to the soil and they are called epiphyte, no? In the case of balite or strangler fig, hemi-epiphyte siya. Kasi later, although hanging siya, but later, ang iyang root, mutubo siya ba niya? Mura na siya o ganang stem, nga mura ganang siya, dalang kag stem nga na nagkatay. So the third one is the halophyte or halophytic plants. So these are plants na can thrive in salty or saline condition like the nipa, talisay, bakawan, and mga mangrove species. Those who can which can be planted sa nearby sa mga seashores. And even coconut, cashew, and tamarind, no, na sila saline condition tolerance. Next is the lithophyte or lithophytic plant. These are plants which are adapted sa mga rocks naman or terrain na may a little humus just to absorb nutrients from the atmosphere, rain, or mga decaying matter na na-accumulate sa rocks like the Vanda sanderiana, yung ating what do you call that? Orchid, Ascocentrum, and Trudelia orchids. So they are lithophytes or lithophytic. Kasi they are grown in rocks, no? Dendrobium, of course, sa gravel or stone. Another way is also mesophyte or mesophytic. Ibig sabihin, they are terrestrial plant na adapted to moderate condition for growth, not too dry and not too wet. So usually lahat ng mga crops natin na commercially grown like corn, these are all mesophytic. Ibig sabihin mga land plants, no? So we also have init kaya ang world. We also have parasite or parasitic plant. So pag parasitic plant na siya, if it is parasitic plant already, it is actually grows on another plant talaga, and it takes its part for nourishment, no? They are really parasite. So like the Cassia, the mistletoe family, Lorantaceae, and yung ating very proud Rafflesia, no, na it's only found in Maragusan, yung the biggest flower in the world. but also found in Indonesia ba or Malaysia. And we also have Neotia and Corallorhiza. Okay. So, seventh way is the saprophyte or saprophytic, which grow in decaying matter again, but walang green tissue. So, example ng mga saprophyte are the mushrooms, no, which are all fungi. Or psiophyte or psiophytic plant, no, which are adapted to low light intensity or shade. Or examples are ferns, mosses, mga black pepper, no, and cacao, coffee, lanzones. So, shady. They grow best in shady. Like, diba, dali na kayo mamatay ang cacao, ang coffee, lanzones pag exposed sa 100% sunlight and with high temperature. Even mangosteen, no, hot pepper, ginger, and a lot of orchids, that really like best in shady or shady area. And we also have terrestrial or land plants. So ito yung mga plants which grow on land and are rooted in the soil, and they have shoot and root which absorb the water nutrients in the soil. So lahat ng agricultural crops are terrestrial, and all terrestrial plants are classified pa into halophytes, mesophytes, and psiophytes, and xerophytes, depending sa climatic special adaptation. So when we say xerophyte or xerophytic or xeric plant, these are adapted to little or no water. So mga dry, like adelpha, bromelias, euphorbias, mga cactus, and succulents. So according to Wendt and Editors of Life, yung pygmy cedar can live without soil water. No? It obtains its water need from the water vapor in the air alone, replenishing its supply during the night. So they are also noted that the caper plant, the Capparis spinosa of the Sahara, seems to have the same ability. So yung caper already have the deepest root system among plants according to Oscar Harman and so on. So another one, is the third way of classifying our plants is to identify their use, whether they are crop or weed. Of course, we know what are crops. Those who have economic value to us, those who are source of food, spices, sugar, drinks, fiber, clothing, beverages, medicines, oils, in source of tannins, rubber, ornamentals, fuels, or construction materials, or for soil improvement ba siya, or fertilizer and organic farming, landscaping, and many more. But if weeds siya, it has still undiscovered use, and in fact it is competitive, it competes for your crop for nourishment, like for water, for nutrients, and for light, and for us they are nuisance. That's why meron tayong mga herbicides or pampamatay ng mga damo. And some may also have allelophatic effect on other plants. Ibig sabihin, they have allelochemicals na toxic, and even these are source of herbicides na ingredient. Like lantana, neem tree, hagunoy, and yellow nut sedge, So these are weeds. And any plant actually can be classified as weeds, depending on ano ang priority natin na crop, for growth, for growing, or for production. So even crop siya sa ibang bansa, but in other country, like hindi wala siyang gamit, and it's competing for nutrients of another crop that of priority, so it still becomes weed. So we also classify them whether Agronomic ba sila or horticultural crops? So ano itong agronomic? So agronomic refers to field crops, no? And if field crops, ibig sabihin they are grown under extensive or large scale na culture. So usually are annual herbaceous, like cereals, seed, legumes, root and sugar crops, latex and rubber crops, pasture and forage crops, and fiber crops. And they are usually used as high dry matter for production of oil ba or kaya source of biodiesel or energy. So ano naman itong horticultural crops versus agronomic? So yung horticultural crops are garden crops, while agronomic crops are field crops, diba? And these are grown under fields or branches of horticulture, such as olericulture or the study of vegetables, pomology or the study of fruits, and ornamental horticulture, also known as floriculture or landscape horticulture. At saka mga spices and medicinal plants is under horticulture. So therefore, these are crops na could be perishable. That's why post-harvest hunting is part of horticulture. And these are, take note, intensively cultured, no, for food, medicine, aesthetic, and intensive meaning hindi siya extensive na malawak. It's intensive kasi you need a lot of TLC, care, and also large input of capital, labor, technology, no? Than wide areas. However, there is no exact demarcation between agronomic and horticultural crops. So hindi talaga yan standard na classification. So sometimes, like for banana, it can be both horticultural and agronomic, diba? Or papaya. Papaya is a fruit, so it's under pomology. But then papaya, if it's produced for papain, it becomes agronomic. So there is no there is just arbitrary demarcation, no, sa kanila. So ayan. So yeah, as I have explained. So these are, however, by Janik, no, classification or summary of the distinction between horticultural crops and agronomic. So halimbawa, ultimate consumer, humans for horti and animals for agro. And in terms of appearance, importante or high valued horti, wow, baby. Very good. And non-critical yung mga agro, no? Kasi pang animals sila. In taste naman, very critical or ang arte-arte ng mga horticulture crops, no? Subjective. While non-critical ang agro. So, final product, often consumed fresh, yung horti natin, and dried or processed naman ang agro. And in terms of market, mga non-commodity ang horti, commodity naman ang agro. In terms of calories, low density ang horti, and high density naman ang agro. And in terms of vitamins, minerals, and price, higher ang horti kaysa agro. And value is low in horti and high in agro. And variability, high in horti, low in agro. And breeding objectives is, in terms sa mga horti, it involves quality, appearance, but in agronomy naman, high yield talaga at saka stability. So those are, I guess, very very concrete na mga definition or characteristic to differentiate horti and agro crops. So, and so much more, we also have classification based on primary use, whether food crops sila or non-food crops. Of course, food crops is very self-explanatory, and non-food crops would be used as fiber for clothing, fodder, alcohol, tobacco, mga industrial oil, rubber, gums, resins, and even drugs, no? And if it's staple crop, ibig sabihin yun yung main crop na kinakain ng population, like for Philippines and some Asian countries, our staple crop is rice. But in other countries, like in the case of Samoa, in the country where I've been to, their staple food is breadfruit or taro, yung gabi. No? So, it usually depends. And cassava is the staple food of Fiji. No? So, nakakatuwa sila. And cereal or grain crops, kapag they belong to Gramineae, no? Annual and herbaceous or grass family. So, ito yung mga characteristic nila, single dry indehiscent fruit called Caryopsis. So, anong type of fruit nila is Caryopsis, yung mga cereals. So, example, the corn, millet, rice, sorghum, and wheat. No? According to FAO definition, cereals are annual plants, generally gramineaceous family, yielding grains used for food, etc., and even ethanol. No? So, we also have, actually, ang dami, no? Legumes or seed crops or pulses. So, these are very characteristic ng legumes are they have symbiotic relationship with the bacteria rhizobium. No? They have root nodules that they can fix nitrogen in the air. Kaya rich in nitrogen. So maganda ito for nutrient or fertilizer for the soil, such as the cowpea, mung bean, peanut peas, and kahanos kahan or pigeon pea. So ito naman yung FAO definition. Sometimes the other term for legumes are pulses. Next, we have the root and tuber crops. No? So ibig sabihin, they have modified swollen root or underground stem. And there are tuberous, fleshy roots. So this include cassava, sweet potato, yam bean, arrowroot, and even sugar beet, no? Yung source of sugar ng other countries. So yung tuber naman is also an enlarged tip underground stem. Hindi siya root, no? And example, yung corn ng gabi. So aerial tubers are actually called tubercle. So we also have another one is oilseed crops. No, and they are of course grown for their seeds like the soybean, peanut, sunflower, palm, sesame, and cotton. So for Philippines, ang isa sa mga oil crops natin ay coconut. Then next is palm oil. So again, this is the definition, temporary oil-bearing crops daw, according to FAO. And we also have permanent oil-bearing crops such as the kapok, olives, and coconuts. Yung temporary naman are called oil seeds, no? Yung mga industrial oil or essential oil. So we also have sugar or sweetener crops, no? And these are of course for the production of sugar or pang sweetener. So we all know that sugar is very important in our daily lives, no? And in fact, because of too much love for sugar, it's also been the source of our diabetes. No? And we also have FAO definition for sugar. And next is the beverage crop. So ibig sabihin yung mga drinks such as fruit juice, tea, coffee. So diba, live coffee is live, cocoa or for chocolate, and toddy yung kanang tuba, beer, and wine. These are examples from cacao, coconut, coffee, soursop, and tea. So we also have rubber crops which are very important in our industry kasi siya yung nagiging source ng ating rubber. Like the Hevea brasiliensis or the rubber tree, the Castilla rubber or Castilla elastica, Seria rubber, guayole, Lagos silk rubber. We also have latex and gum crops. Plants grown with latex. So yung chico or Manilcara zapota and so on, they all have latex na even less than a minute na tayo ha. So sorry. I will see you next meeting when it stops. So yung kanang chewing gum so actually came from the latex or gum crabs. And lastly we have dye and tannin crabs. So for coloring naman siya, medicines or dyeing. So this have the aromatic phenolic compounds. So, and we example are yung mga talisay, indigo, bakawan, and we also have fiber crabs and pasture forage crabs. No? For fiber crabs, of course, source ng ating fiber for ropes, no? Even for ating clothing, like abaka, magirami, and so on. And pasture and forage crops naman are for the